Good morning, good afternoon, sorry. Good afternoon, everybody. Please feel free to take your devices off mute. I love to hear your voices.
Good afternoon, Brian.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Awesome to hear your voices.
Hello.
Hello. You guys getting back into the swing of things with school?
Slowly but surely.
Anybody, does anybody still do virtual?
I do mostly online, except for
Mostly
one
online.
course.
Now, is that just through just the way your courses are set up, or is that kind of the university's goal right now?
At UW Milwaukee, it's pretty much like they're trying to reduce how many online classes are available, but because I'm watching what's happening around me, I just thought it'd be a better idea to already have my classes online than, expect everything to be perfect again and then it collapse.
Yep, smart move, smart move. All right, well, we're gonna be respectful of your time tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I know we'll have a few more people come in later, but we really have an awesome topic for you tonight that I'm gonna guide us through, and it's about internships. It's been a unique experience over the last year or so as it pertains to internships. So because things have been a little odd, we're expecting 2022 internships to get back to somewhat of normal. And so we want to make sure that we prepare you all for success with those internships. So before we get started today, let's get some good vibes going. I need 3 people. Let's give me something positive that has happened for you since we've last spoken. Feel free to take your devices off mute. You don't have to do a raise your hand on this one.
I probably won't be talking much just because I have to drive home. My schedule didn't really align with this meeting, but I really wanted to be in it.
Awesome. Well, go ahead and get it out now while you're off mute.
What was the question again?
Oh, just anything positive that's happened since we've last been together.
Joining the LSNSSA thing for me has been pretty positive.
Awesome. And I know you're driving, so definitely be safe. Use your hands-free features. And then if you do get to a spot where you can speak, please feel free to speak up. Anyone else have anything positive they want to share? I know some people, they're gonna try to let others speak. There's got to be something positive that has happened.
I would say making new friends, especially because I'm a freshman. So I was worried about that, but it's going pretty smoothly.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool feeling in college once you ingrain yourself and you find out that making friends isn't that hard in college. But you gotta be an active participant in seeking friends and kind of embedding yourself in the process. So Emma, was there anything that you did, that you didn't expect to do? Like, how did you think friends were going to come about, and how have you been successful with that?
Something I did was just reaching out. So I knew someone on social media, but I've never met her. But like we kind of reached out to each other and we're friends now. And some other people, I guess, just complimenting them and then seeing how it goes. Because I think everyone kind of feels the same, like, oh, I don't know if I should talk to this person or not. So I think just being able to take that step can really lead you anywhere. You just have to be brave enough.
Awesome, awesome. And definitely leverage your LSAP community. I highly recommend that. All right. Well, just a little bit of housekeeping. We definitely want to hear your voices. I'm not as loud as I usually am, as I'm in a library tonight. So please forgive me if I'm not speaking too loud, but I should be coming through clear enough, hopefully tonight. I will say that with this topic, please feel free to ask as many questions as possible. If I do not have the answer tonight, we will do everything possible to get the answer. But this is not a session where I'm just presenting information to you and I don't want your feedback. This actually is of greater value if you engage with the topic, if you ask questions about the topic, because it may be something that triggers tonight, it may be something that triggers later, it may be information or guidance you can get to help a friend as well. So please feel free to speak up and to engage with us tonight on this topic. And I'll go ahead and get started. Also, we do have various kind of communication features. We got the chat box, we got the Q&A box, and then you can always raise your hand if you like to engage with me, but never feel free to interrupt me. All right, so let's start with a little icebreaker. What % of students do not plan to place canceled internships on their resume due to COVID-19? So this is going over the last year of people who had internships, they got canceled. You can use the chat feature. Throw out a couple figures of what you think this number is, who do not plan to put those on their resume. And it's kind of a setup into a conversation that we're going to go into, which is why we have this question. So you can take your device off mute and throw out a number, or you can use the chat feature.
I think the chat is disabled.
Chat is disabled. All right, so Deb, could you help me out? And it looks like we may have to go through each person individually and release the chat feature for them. Or maybe a group release as well. This happened in the past. So let's throw out a couple audio answers.
70%.
70, oh, good start.
30%.
No, 70 was more.
And 85%.
Oh, ding, 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 we got the champion. So 85% is the answer. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is when you're building out your resume, COVID has threw a curveball in that could negatively impact people. Because of that, I actually highly recommend you be part of the 15% on this one. And the reason that I say that is if there was an internship that you were awarded last year that got canceled, it's important that you're recognized for actually being awarded the internship, even if you didn't execute it. So yes, you may not have the section where you accomplished all of these things, but I do think for your resume purpose, it's important to get credit for receiving that internship, and then do acknowledge that it was canceled due to COVID, and that during that time you joined in on the LSMRCE web speaker series, or all the things that you did to close that gap in time. But do give yourself credit for being awarded that internship initially. Anybody have feedback on that? Because this is a topic that many don't speak about. But as I was researching and talking to students, I was thinking, wow, I didn't know it was this many students who were so confused about what to do with that, and that decided not to put anything on their resume. Any feedback on that? Is there anybody that was in that situation? Does anybody know anybody that was in that situation? I know plenty. And feel free to use the raise your hand feature. Just take your, I can notice if you take your device off mute. All right. So from a COVID standpoint, I want to take a step back because internships were greatly impacting us over the last year. And it wasn't just internships, it may have been co-ops, many different things in the world of academia and industry were canceled. So what I wanted to do is just show you a few stats that were centered around this so you know that you're not alone. But also I wanted to get your feedback. How have you felt about things that have been modified or canceled from a working standpoint due to COVID? Has it impacted you or those around you, and how have you managed through it? Please feel free to use the raise your hand feature. And you can volunteer before I call you out. Remember, this is only a value if you engage with it. This isn't a presentation. This isn't a lecture. The speaker series is where we engage with you to help you grow and get across that finish line on these various topics. So engagement is highly recommended.
If you don't mind, could you reiterate your question? I think my speaker had went out.
No problem. So what I'm asking is, has anybody dealt with any cancellations in internships, any cancellation in any job opportunities, or know of anyone that has gone through that? And I just wanted to put these stats out there before we talk about the future. I wanted to talk about the past just a little bit to let you know that you're not alone in this process.
Well, me myself, I did over last year, I did 3 NASA internships, and in my family, I'm like the first person in the science industry. I would have been the first person to actually be on a NASA work site. So that was going to be a big thing for me. But unfortunately, they canceled it due to COVID, and we were placed on virtual. So it was a little disappointing because it would have been like a historical thing for not just myself, but my family, for me to have went to that distance. I was accepted to come for the second internship after doing my research paper, but unfortunately I had to do the virtual part, which was a little upsetting. I was still happy that I was able to do it, but I felt disappointed.
Yeah, and honestly, there's a lot of data that has been put out there on students' feelings around their internships either being canceled or their internships being made virtual, and how there's a small percent that felt, that was a positive thing, but the majority were very frustrated because from an internship standpoint, you as students, that you only have a certain amount of time, right? You only get a certain number of summers. And so you're trying to maximize that and leverage those opportunities. So the frustration that you may have is warranted and understood. I want you to know that it doesn't mean that it's going to stop you from getting where you want to go, though. So for those that had it canceled, we definitely want to still document that we received it. For those who didn't have it canceled but had it modified, we want to make sure that we still document it as a normal internship. There's nothing on your resume that should say this was a virtual internship. Does anybody have any issues with that? Because I talked to some students here recently. It's like, yeah, I needed to put that it was virtual. Why? If I had a virtual job, I don't have on there that is virtual. So give me some feedback. Kevin, it looks like you're off mute. You wanted to share your thoughts?
Yeah, I had an internship for a nonprofit in Milwaukee. And it was also supposed to be over the summer, but because of COVID, it got canceled. But the bright side was that they moved it to the fall. So it's starting up soonish. They've been contacting me like every other week, telling me like, "Hey, we'll get this started soon." So yeah, that was my experience with
So
cancellation.
are you excited about this? Do you feel ready for this internship?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of nervous because I mean, I don't know how they're gonna organize it now with, because I think there'll be some virtual parts of it, but I know they also want to open up the office and really get to work there. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to start.
Okay. Well, in 2 weeks, Kevin, we're actually going to have a session that's centered around how to be successful during an internship as well. So today is about kind of prepping and getting ready to receive an internship. And then in 2 weeks, we're actually going to have a session that's designed specifically for how to leverage, maximize, and be successful in an internship.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think I'm registered for that one too.
Awesome. Awesome. Anybody else have feedback on that before we move on? Awesome. So from an internship standpoint, one of the keys to an internship, and we can talk about, we have a slide later where we'll talk about the reasons why we do internships. But one of the big ones that I just want to put out in front of us right now is differentiation. It's a very competitive market that you guys are going into. When I graduated college, I had a competitive market, and it just keeps getting more and more competitive. Not only do they want you to make good grades, they want you to be involved in extracurricular activities. They want you to have experience and through internships and co-ops, research experience, et cetera. And so it just continues to get more and more challenging for you all. So one of the things that I definitely wanted you to understand is that you're not just doing this internship for fun or just to make money. It is part of the process of differentiating yourselves and finding yourselves as you also prepare for a very competitive either graduate school market or your industry or research market. Michaela, share your thoughts there.
I have a question. So I'm a junior, I think, and I've done like a decent amount of research, and I've been like a mentor, and I've been a mentee in a program, and I'm involved in scholarship programs. So like I'm involved in a lot of things, and I kind of just don't know like how I would manage like an internship and stuff with everything I have going on. So like, is an internship like required? And like obviously it's the best bet for me, like get a job, but like with everything I already have, is that enough, or is an internship like required to like seal the deal for like being prepared for like the work industry?
Wow, that's what a great question. And I'm going to provide my answer to that question. And then I would love for if we have any faculty on tonight, I would love faculty to provide some feedback on this one as well. So from my perspective and my work with students, yes, I would say the internships, and we'll call this internships in industry, or we'll call it your summer research. We'll put all of that in a similar bucket, right? We'll call it your summer experience. Those are of extremely great value. We'll go on a slide later about all of the pros that come with an internship. But if you are trying to determine if I should do an internship, or do I have the bandwidth for an internship, or should I let go maybe of some type of activities, then in my personal opinion, I would challenge you to try to do both if you can, if you have the bandwidth. But if you don't have the bandwidth and you had to make a choice, then I would choose the quality of internships and research and summer experience over involvement in an activity. Not saying that activities aren't important and not extracurricular activities aren't important. It's just that this is something that you could leverage to better understand maybe what you're studying, give confirmation to your career path, get you wonderful experience, help you get a leg up going into graduate studies or into the industry And we'll talk about some of those stats here of the importance of internships to full-time employment as well. But that's my personal feedback, and that's a really great question. I thank you for asking that, because that is a tough situation that many college students find themselves in, and they don't know what to do. But my feedback I would put a little bit more eggs in the internship basket. But I would like to hear from any professors or anyone that works with our students that's on the line tonight to get a different perspective as well.
Thank you.
No problem. Is there anyone that would like to add some feedback to that? All right, come on in, Dr. Ruiz.
Brian, I think you're exactly right. And I'm glad for that Michaela asked this question. I think the most important thing about an internship or any type of experience is the skills that you'll obtain from it. And so in thinking about the skills that you obtain from an internship or a research experience or something else that you might be involved in, if you're able to, depending on what your goals are moving ahead, if your goals are to attend graduate school, I think you tailor those experiences to whatever your ultimate goal is once you graduate. I think internships are awesome, regardless of whatever you do. But if you have other things on your plate, then obviously you have to make some choices in terms of time management and prioritizing to make sure that you're not spread too thin, that you're not doing a lot of things, but doing none of them well. And that, and maybe you'll be able to fit in an internship maybe later on next year or in the summer, as Brian is sharing. But I think there may be some skills that you're acquiring in what you have right now that may provide you with the same leverage, perhaps, as an internship might be able to provide you. So I think talking to your school advisor, talking to your LSAMP person, talking to professors about what you need to get ahead in your major is going to be really key. So thanks, Brian.
No problem. Thank you for sharing that feedback. May, you wanted to share some thoughts as well? Feel free to take your device off mute.
Hi, I'm just really like taking in everything that you guys say and taking notes.
Okay, no problem. I saw your hand up. I didn't know if you wanted to share anything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no problem. No problem. Rashad, you wanted to share something there?
Yeah, right now I'm currently doing research on quantum computers and information, but I wanted to know during the rest of my career, I want to go to grad school. So is it better to, if I had to pick a choice out of being offered a research position during the summer or a good internship, are they equivalent, or which will be more important for someone looking to go to grad school?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think me and Deb were kind of talking about this the other day about research, and then, you know, the concept of internship versus research. They're kind of like cousins, I guess you would say. They're in the same family, but they are different. But they do all fit in the bucket of summer experience and gaining knowledge and getting some form of technical applicable experience. So neither one is bad. I would say, Rashad, if you're taking an academic path, then the research probably is going to carry more leverage for you. Internship doesn't hurt it. It's just, if you're going to probably take more of an academic path for your career, the research probably has a lot more weight than just an internship. If you feel that you may be going into industry in your career, and or you're undecided on which path you want to take yet, then I would say you may want to, if you know you want to go industry, then you may do more internships. If you are undecided, then we may do a combination of both. It's not going to hurt you either way. But if you know that you're going an academic path, then the research probably is going to carry more weight if that path is clearly defined for yourself. Does that help out, Rashad?
Yeah, it does. I'm kind of a little bit unsure. I do know I want to work in the industry because I want to innovate different various technologies. So I think it'll be in the industry so I can learn a lot of how to work with things. But if I'm able to, I'll just try to do some. Without me working right now, I should be able to do both because I'm doing a lot right now. So
Okay.
yes, I'm
Yeah.
undecided. So I'll see how it goes.
No, that makes sense. And man, you guys are asking awesome questions tonight. I really appreciate it because there's probably some on here that wanted to know the answers to those that just didn't feel comfortable asking. And people that'll watch this later are really getting some good feedback on these great questions you guys are asking. So continue to do so throughout the session today. So I wanted to share this real quick. I think we shared this last year, and I just wanted to bring it back to the table. On average, every corporate job opening attracts 250 resumes, but only 4 to 6 of these people will be called for an interview, and only one of those will be offered a job. I wanted to put this out there because I didn't want you to be passive with this process. I want you to be aggressive. I want you to be the point playing offense, not defense. An internship, acquiring an internship and acquiring research opportunities is not something that is done being on the defensive. Those who are extremely successful and create options are people who play offense with this process. So as we look at the internship process, I just wanted to make sure everybody understood what it is. It's a chance for us to get practice. And that's why I said application earlier, a chance for us to learn, a chance to gain experience, and also a chance to gain some successes so you can actually accomplish some things in this process. The timing is something that I really want to harp on today. So many students start thinking about internships in the spring. You should be thinking about your internships right now. Does anybody have a fall career fair in person or virtually already scheduled at their university? There has to be one. So I'll ask the question again. Does anybody have a fall in-person or virtual career fair scheduled at their university?
I believe UWM has one coming up, but I'm not sure when.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, we have all of next week career fairs, depending whether you want to go into engineering or business. But usually they tell us that we should go to all of them just because you never know what opportunities arise that you might be good for. So that's at least what I've been told.
So these next 2 slides could be life-changing for you. My first internship changed my entire life. It put me on a trajectory that I didn't even know was going to come because I hadn't had an internship before that. So I'm not trying to scare you or anything, but I am trying to get you excited and motivated about the possibilities that can come from a successful internship, or how you could change the course once you intern and find out that it may not have been the path that you wanted to go down. So from the standpoint of obtaining this internship, for those who do not know if you have a fall career fair, you need to research that tonight. I highly, highly recommend you find out if your university is having a career fair tonight, because you need to start preparing now. And a lot of companies and a lot of organizations, they actually like students to apply before the career fair, and some of them already set up interviews before the career fair starts. So some students go to career fairs hoping to get an interview, when there's some students who already have their interviews set up before the career fair even started because they applied in advance. Does anybody Has anybody had that experience before? Has anybody experienced what I just said about success at a career fair, and or success about applying and getting engaged even before the career fair started? Well, that means that this is even better for you, for you all, because you're at the early phases of this. This time next year, I hope that every single person has an answer to that question because you've gone through this process. But because you haven't gone through it, this becomes even more valuable, the information that we're sharing tonight, because you can get very complacent. And many people, give me a raise your hand if you've heard this before. Freshmen and sophomores can't get internships. Let me get a raise your hand or something in the chat if you've heard that before or you've thought that before. All right, I got a few there. It is not true. It is not true. The question is, are you putting yourself out there enough to be able to get some no's, but understand that in this process, we're only looking for one yes. So I highly recommend you go to the fall career fair for two reasons. One, you may get the internship. Two, if you're not prepared and you don't feel like you gave your best as it pertains to your resume, your readiness, or your interview, you have the spring to try to come back, or you have the different conferences that are going to take place throughout the fall to try to prepare the next time. But the more you go, the more you apply, the more you practice, the better you're going to get. So who, after listening to this, feels that now they need to get more prepared for an internship? Use your raise your hand feature, throw something in the chat for me. If just listening to this last 5 minutes makes you feel like you need to prepare a little bit more right now. All right, then we're doing our jobs here. We're doing our jobs. Thank you guys so much for the feedback there. So for the next slide, I wanted to show you this because some people may say, oh, I don't want to do an internship. Well, these are the stats over the last 6 years, going up to 2019, 5. And in 2019, we left with 56.1% conversion rate. So if you look at the bottom of my screen, let me move some stuff out of my own way here. It says 70% of companies offer interns a full-time job. 80% of students accept such offers. As a result, 56% of interns get a full-time job from internships. This is a staggering number because there's so many students who don't do internships. So for those that just choose to do them and get involved in them, 56% of them, more than half, actually get a job from that particular internship or from one of those internships that they do. It's a game changer, people. This is not something to think lightly of. It can be an eye-opening, life-changing experience. It can connect you with the right people. And I'll kind of transition into the next slide here. Why do you think an internship is important? For those of you that have done an internship, that are about to do one, or just you're learning about it, what are some of the things you believe are important about an internship? Please use the raise your hand feature. Come on in, Saul.
Oh, so in my last internship, at least for me personally, one of the things that I realized is that it kind of gave me a roadmap where I kind of learned what gaps I had. And I figured out what classes I was going to choose in the coming semester just so that maybe I'd be a better candidate. Because some of the projects that we were working on, I really was a little bit hesitant because I didn't really know what was going on. So it kind of helped me just kind of decide what I needed to do in the coming semesters just to kind of be a better candidate in the future if I wanted to work in that industry.
Awesome, awesome, great feedback. Do you think that your internship did it help give you a little bit more clarity? Like, did you feel that once you left your internship that what you were about to pursue for your career made more sense to you than going into that than when the internship started?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think because especially because sometimes it feels like you have so many options and you don't know exactly what to focus on. It made it somewhat simpler trying to figure out what I would want to focus on after I graduated.
Awesome, awesome. Anybody else wanted to share their thoughts on why they thought that an internship is important from your personal perspective? So let me give you a few thinking points here. So here's a list of some things that you can think about that are benefits to you taking on this internship. I'll let this sit just for a second for you to review. And I'd love to get your thoughts. So just give you a second to read through some of this. And feel free at any point to use the raise your hand feature. If you'd like to give me some feedback now that you're seeing some more options. Also share your thoughts on does it make you feel like you want to get an internship now? Is it starting to become a little bit more attractive to you once you're understanding the value points of it? Come on in, Mr. Darius.
Yep, that's me. I just wanted to ask.
I'm sorry.
If you're fine. I just wanted to ask because like I'm still in like my requirement classes, not necessarily in classes for my intended major. Is it going to be harder for like me to find scholarship versus somebody who already has like classes under their belt?
So that's a great question. And many people do find themselves in that boat where because they haven't gotten to that core that they may not have as strong of a resume as they're preparing for internships. I would say that's where you can communicate what your area of focus is going to be, and that you may need more shots on goal, as a hockey term is, which means that you may need to apply more. You may need to go to more conferences, attend more career fairs, put more applications out there, just because you know that you may have a higher rate of no's. But remember, all we're seeking is the one yes. So that's just me being honest about it as it pertains to freshmen and maybe even sophomores that are challenged in that area, but don't use that as a reason not to apply, not to pursue this process.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. And for those that do not know, yes, your university may not have career fairs, but on the next slide, we're going to share with you many organizations who have career fairs either virtually or in person. And then there's internships that you can just apply to in general without those events happening, but we definitely are going to leverage organizations along with our universities. And then if I were you, I would get well connected to my Office of Career Services. Who has actually been to who has never been or spoken to their career services? And this is a safe space, so don't get in trouble. You don't get in trouble for raising your hand. You can use the chat feature or you can use the raise your hand feature. I'd like to hear from you if you've never spoken to or never even been to your Office of Career Services. All right. This is a positive thing. This is a positive thing for me. This isn't something where I'm frustrated when I see this, because it lets me know that there's an opportunity that exists for you that you haven't unlocked yet. People are paid on our college campuses to help us gain employment. So if we pay to go to these institutions, I would leverage all the resources that the institutions have. And so for me, when I was in college, I built strong relationships with my Office of Career Services. And I'm asking you to do the same, because that's a place that internships exist, full-time employment exists, and you may never even know about it because you don't have that partnership with them. And at some universities, they want you to register with them, and where that means they actually like have your resume on file. And I don't know, Dr. Ruiz, or if there's any other faculty that's online, I would love to hear your thoughts about that feedback that I'm giving the students, and if that's accurate at your institutions as well.
Yeah, Brian, I can share out at UWM that our Career Planning and Resource Center is open to all students, and they do track or try to track students' needs and make sure that they're reaching out. Students in the program, they actually do have an activity next month where they have to go to Career Planning and Resource Center, or maybe later this month, and brush up their resume and their CV and check their LinkedIn profile. So, but it is underutilized on most campuses, and a lot of students feel intimidated to go. But it's wonderful, whether you already have a resume and you want to brush it up, or whether you're starting for the first time. Those folks are really there to help you. And to be honest, you're paying your college tuition at the school, so you're paying for it. You might as well take advantage of what they have to offer and land that great internship. So what you're saying is spot on.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ruiz. And it is common that we hear that across many campuses, that it's an underutilized resource. So please take advantage. And Stephanie, I wanted to give you credit. Thank you for sharing in the chat that internships give you experience that you could use for future jobs, and it allows for you to find out what you really want in a career. That's very well written and an extremely accurate statement. So thank you for that feedback. So I'll keep going here. You guys are doing really good. Thank you for your participation tonight. So we put these organizations up. I want to say we may have talked about this last fall, but as it pertains to internships, I thought I'll bring this back to the table. All of these organizations are not only designed to help the advancement of their participants in these various engineering organizations and STEM organizations, but they also have jobs and internships and conferences and career fairs, and really good ones at times. So I challenge you, one with inside of the LSM-RCE family, with inside of the LSAM family, we have our own organization and our own conferences. But then there's all of these other organizations that exist that many times are posting internships and jobs to their message boards. And I give an example with NSBE. You can apply through the NSBE website. You upload your resume and you can apply to so many internships and jobs just through their website. And companies go directly to that website to look for the students. So even if you don't have something on your campus, there's a place to go. So I really wanted to make sure that we didn't leave our discussion tonight without explaining to you the importance of being involved in some of these organizations, but then turning around and making sure that we leverage the beautiful resources that come out from these organizations. So please feel free to take your phone off mute and give me some feedback on this. Did you know these existed? Is this an eye opener for you to even know that all of these were out there for you for resources? Is this the first time that you've seen this before. Please share your thoughts. And Deb did put a link inside of the chat feature as well for you. Come on in, Darius.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that for me, this actually is an eye-opener. I did not know that we had that many like specific organizations. And it's actually kind of like nice to see that there are several different options for several different groups of people, and that it could just help us get like one foot in the door. It's really eye-opening, and I liked it. That's all I wanted to add.
Yes, and I'm happy you said that, and thank you for your honesty there. I will say this, and this is because we're family, and we need to talk amongst the family. Don't be afraid to participate in one of these organizations that you think that you may not be qualified as a member of. I'll say that again. Don't be afraid to get involved and participate in one of these organizations that you feel that you may not be a qualifier of based off of whatever reasons. Because as I've attended these conferences over the years, all walks of life are participants in these organizations. These organizations have a specific mission and purpose and a group of people that they're trying to help advance, but you'll be shocked at the inclusivity with these organizations as they just try to help the STEM movement in general. So don't feel that you can't participate in a group that did not seem like one that you that you qualified for. I don't even know if the word qualifications is the right term, but this is one where it shocked me when I was a student, and then as a person that was a recruiter at many conferences, I continued to get educated and learn about the diversity within inside of these organizations. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, to add any, validation outside of just hearing that from me, but it's just something I definitely wanted to make sure I share with you tonight, so you don't feel like you're limited on the support system that could be around you. And if anybody's ever been to a NSBE conference, you understand, you absolutely understand it. All right, anybody want to share any thoughts or feedback? And I thank you for that, Darius. Anybody else want to share thoughts about the vast resources that are out there that may be posting internships, jobs, and many of these have conferences throughout the year. So that may be the next level to this, is to add their conference dates as well. So let me ask this, now that we've had this conversation, is anyone, and maybe use the chat feature, does anyone, and you can use raise your hand if you like, does anyone feel now that they want to try to find out how to get involved in one of these organizations, see if it's on their campus, or if it's not on their campus, how they can maybe get involved with it on a national scale or regional scale? Feel free to use the raise your hand, or you can use the chat feature as well. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for your feedback. And don't be afraid if your campus doesn't have the resource. Many of these organizations still want your involvement some way, somehow. And I know that some organizations on here will let you be involved with another university's chapter. And with their conferences and things, they do require you to be members for some. So definitely just don't limit yourself, basically, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so let's talk about internships and LinkedIn. So internships and full-time employment. 95% of recruiters use LinkedIn regularly, and 77% of recruiters use LinkedIn to find candidates. Update your profile, make sure it's professional, make it clean, and then leverage it. There's so much employment that comes through LinkedIn that is definitely a social media platform that you want to leverage. It may not be a system that's for you, that you know, it may not work for you like it works for someone else, but as it pertains to your future and your career, all we're doing is trying to take advantage of every resource we can and get as many options as we can. And so I highly recommend that you set this up. So I see May, May says, this is my sign. Thank you, May, for sharing that. Do you feel like taking your phone off mute and sharing with us why you shared that, May, in the chat feature?
Hi, Ron. So I'm a junior this year, and like I've had a LinkedIn like account ever since freshman year, but I just never like set aside the time to actually put everything that I've done on there, because I always feel like it's so time consuming. So I need to set aside like a lot of time to do it, but it's really not that hard. I feel like.
No, it's actually not. And honestly, once you get the course set up, you just update it as time passes. You make updates to it. It's like updating a resume. The hardest thing is to do the resume the first time. So it's your virtual resume. So I thank you for being honest and transparent, and I highly recommend others take that feedback that you just provided and do the same. All right, so I just want to go through a few key takeaways. Take advantage of fall career fairs. Apply to multiple internships. Please, please apply to multiple internships. Be geographically flexible if possible. And I put that if possible in there because I understand that you may have limitations for whatever reason. But if you are geographically flexible, it does open up your range of internship opportunities. If not an internship, ensure you leverage your summer. So this is similar to the feedback we got earlier about research, about other summer experiences. The one thing that you want to do as a college student is not have your summers go wasted. I was a person that wasted my first two. So I'm not saying this because I think I'm better than anybody. I'm saying it because I'm a person who did it. Now, I did one heck of a catching up with my internships and my co-ops at the end, but those first 2 summers, I did not leverage them. And I'm just grateful that I had such a strong push to the finish to do a little catch up. But sometimes, and we'll be transparent here, sometimes your salary may be based off the amount of experience you have. And so people who get internships do make more money than those that do not have internships. That's what the stats say. I was going to put some of that in here, but I didn't want to get into too much money talk, but that is a fact. So I just wanted to share that with you as well. And then just a few reflection questions for you to think about. Do you know the dates for your, not you, on campus or virtual fall career fair? Are you attending any conferences with internship opportunities? Have you considered an internship within industry, not just research? And if you've had an internship before, what did you learn that helps better prepare you for the next one? So I really want you guys to think through these 4 questions after the session is over, and give yourself the best chance of success by being aggressive now and playing offense with your internship. Applying now. Deb has put many various links of things inside of there. Looks like I think she put Dr. Valdez's LinkedIn session that we had. I think we've done 2 of those already. We may need to do a 3rd one, but we have all type of resources available for you to be successful. Our goal is to help you cross the finish line. We have internships, and Deb, you know, I'll be absolutely transparent with you guys tonight. We never have the number of applicants that we expect to have. There seems to be more opportunity than applications. And I'm shocked every year. And I want this to be the year that this changes. When Deb shares with you, and make sure that her emails aren't going into your junk mail, but she's going to share internships. She's going to share all type of summer opportunities at Fermilab and all these different places, Eaton Corporation. Make sure you put your name in the hat because these opportunities we're sharing because people are saying they want our students. And then our students need to apply. So I just ask you to challenge yourself to not procrastinate with these things and make sure that you always put your name in the hat. All right. Did want to just highlight as we close out tonight, our annual conference, October 22nd through the 24th. We thank you so much in advance for your participation. We had an awesome virtual conference last year. We plan to do the same this year. And then we really hope in 2022 that we're back in person. And then upcoming sessions in 2 weeks, we talked about maximizing the internship. And this is going to be about how to be successful during the internship and leveraging it. And then we have October the 6th and October 13th. We have 2 more sessions for you applying to grad school and funding grad school. And you guys know we're going to have some awesome speakers. I'll be leading, and I think what we're going to do for the maximizing internship is have a little bit more of a panel dialogue with that. And then there'll be great speakers for the October 6th and 13th, and we'll be leading through those dialogues as well. So I want to say thank you in advance for your participation in those. And I challenge you to tell one of your classmates, if you're seeing value in these sessions, then challenge those individuals to come to these sessions as well. If you want to get in contact with me, here's my information. Been working with you guys for a long time. It's a beautiful thing to see new crops of students come through on a yearly basis. So for those that haven't gotten a chance to know us or get to know us, I ask you to leverage us. We are here to serve you and to put you in a position of success. We have a number of collaborators that make this happen. I want to say thank you to them all. And then I believe that that's our last slide for tonight. So any questions, comments, or feedback from you tonight? I'd love to hear your thoughts as we close out officially tonight. And feel free to you can use raise your hand. Okay, Emma, thank you.
Something that I can add to people who are like really interested in internships is that for those who are really interested in like professional schooling, like grad school, like pharmacy or med school or anything like that, and you want to go to a specific one, you can actually like look for internship opportunities and programs that school holds. There's quite a few, especially for schools in the Midwest that have those for like minority students. So if you want a specific school, then definitely look into things that they offer.
Thank you so much for that feedback. And yes, with the focus in not only STEM advancement, but diversity in STEM advancement, I'm telling you, the opportunities are out there. The question is, how many chances will we give ourselves, and will we push through some of the no's? There are going to be no's. Do not run away from the no. Remember, we're only looking for one yes. So don't get discouraged in this process. Continue to press forward, and the things that you could do to position yourself the best, make good grades, put yourself in the best position with that, get good recommendations, get involved in as many conferences that you can, leverage things that are right there on your campus. At the starting point, you want to leverage those because other conferences could require travel, and then just apply. You have to put some focused time towards this. And this is the fun thing. Once you get one internship, they actually get easier from that point on. The challenge is typically getting that first one. And I don't know if anybody else wants to vouch for that, but the first one is the hard one. Once you get that internship, it's typically a lot easier to get more. And many times the easy part comes because the place you intern wants to bring you back. But then just other companies and other organizations find you even more attractive once you get that first one. So I just wanted to share that with you. Push through to get the first one, and then it gets better from there. So if there's no other comments, any last comments from anyone, you could please use the raise your hand feature before we close out tonight. All right, well, I just want to say thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for your participation. And we'll do one last little mini survey here. Let's use the raise your hand feature or the chat feature and let me know. Let's do chat today. Use the chat feature and let me know if you are now going to go pursue an internship. Either you're going to pursue one now and you were not even at first going to, or you're going to pursue it a little bit more aggressively now after our session today. And you can use the chat feature to share your thoughts. I saw a couple of hands come up, so you can use the raise your hand feature as well. But we just want to make sure that, you know, it's great that we have these dialogues and we have these sessions, but we also want to make sure that they're landing and generating change with you. So I thank you for those that raised their hands, appreciate it. For those that are new to this process, don't be afraid to participate. This is not a session, and these sessions that we have coming up, they're only valuable if you get out of it what you need to be successful. So don't sit on the sidelines, don't sit back, put yourself in a position where you can engage with these sessions and they can be life-changing. Our goal is to get students through their undergrads, through their grads, through their PhDs, into industry, being successful, and that's what we're here for. Our purpose is not to just present to you. Our purpose is to serve you, help you, and get you across these finish lines. So just know that this is a safe space, and this is not a place where you have to feel intimidated or ashamed about anything. We can be transparent, we're family, and we're gonna help each other be successful. So it looks like, Kevin, you wanna share that real quick?
Sorry, my hand was still raised from looking up for an internship. Yeah.
No problem, no problem. Thank you for your participation, man. We look forward to seeing everybody in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for your time, and you guys have a wonderful night. See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Take care. Take care, everyone. You guys have a great night.
Thank you. You have a great night too.
You too.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Take care. All right, Miss Deb.
Thank you so much, Brian. That was good. That was good.
No problem. I think it was a good setup for our session in 2 weeks. So, okay, now we need to go get the internship, but also let's go ahead and prepare them for how to leverage it, just in case we get anybody that does internships during the school year or co-ops. And then also we get a chance to reiterate the importance of playing offense with this and going after it now. Like you can't be passive with this. And I mean, year over year, we always know that we have more opportunities than applicants. So I just hope that landed with our students tonight.
I hope so too. And I hope my hope is that everybody tonight will go out and start looking at those resources and at least come back to me with questions, you know, if they need help with anything, so we can start directing them in the right way, because you're right. Now is the time that they need to start acting if they want to get one. So all right. So thank you so much, Brian. This was wonderful. I think you're right. It did set us up good for next time. The only other thing I think that we need to add is maybe like a checklist of things that they need to do to be prepared. You know what I mean? So like, you know, like you said, update your LinkedIn. Then we need to make sure that they get their recommenders. You know what I mean? They have to start
like
thinking
your toolkit.
Yeah. They need to start thinking about those types of. Yeah, so those are the things that maybe we could start off with next time, saying, okay, now we talked about last time about internships, you know, this is the list of things that everybody should have checked off, you know, who here, you know, that type of thing.
Okay.
I'm glad you
So-
told them not to get discouraged when they get a no answer or when they don't get accepted to the, opportunities. And that was really important because I know that some of my friends were discouraged from going further with other opportunities because they were said no once or twice before, so that was really important. So Brian, if you can continue doing that for the next section, that would be awesome too.
Will do. And yes, there will be no's. There will be no's.
Definitely, yeah.
All right. Well, take care, everybody, and we'll be back together in 2 weeks.
See you.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Bye.
Bye-bye.